surgeries and effects of hormones and all sorts of stuff was going on. So I would say that the emotions that I really felt strongest were confusion. I was pretty sad because I had just lost this really long-term relationship, and so I was sad and I was confused and I was really feeling lost. When you started cross-dressing, what did you feel? We had a piece of lingerie in this dress-up clothes pile, and it was unlike anything I'd ever seen before, and I remember putting it on, and I think I first put it on over my underpants, and I was like, well, this doesn't look right or something. Like, I knew it was wrong. And so then I tried taking off my underpants and putting it on. And when I looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, well, this doesn't work, or this doesn't fit. Like, there's all sorts of junk down there, and how's this little tiny crotch on this thing supposed to work with me? Did you experience a zigzag of emotions ranging from feeling ridiculous to feeling this is the real me about cross-dressing? I never really felt like this was the real me when I would cross-dress because I never really saw a different person in the mirror when I did cross-dress. I would sneak around and put on women's clothes. Like, no one knew I was doing this. So I guess it did zigzag from, like, intense happiness to, like, shame and embarrassment, and like, the more I did it, I kind of realized, this is not something boys do, and why am I doing this, or why do I like it so much? I just knew that I needed to keep it secret. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have gone to my parents and talked to them about what was going on, so that we could have got me to a therapist when I was, like, still a teenager or younger, and then maybe I would have transitioned much earlier. So the next question is, back then, did you tell anyone about your cross-dressing? If so, what were their reactions? There was a time when I had a friend over and I put on that lingerie again while they were around, and they got really uncomfortable, and I didn't quite understand why. I didn't understand that what I was doing was cross-dressing. Next question is, did you experience shame with no one around? And how did you cope? I did experience shame. I experienced a lot of shame. And I coped by keeping it a secret, not telling anybody, and not doing anything to let anyone know that this kind of stuff was going on in my head. There were some times when I would wear makeup, too. Like, my parents would go out on a date and leave me at home alone. When I was alone, I would put on some women's clothing, and I would put on some of my mother's makeup. And one time, I got caught. It's kind of amazing that my parents didn't kind of figure out what was going on, even though, well, I was pretty secretive about it, but that was definitely one time when I thought that they knew something was up for sure. When and how did you achieve total acceptance of your feminine self? What was the moment when you decided you were trans? I think I honestly started accepting myself when I began my transition. I had painted myself into a corner where I was so unhappy, and I was having so many problems and anxiety, and I couldn't really get the stuff out of my head about having a woman's body. Everything was so new and scary, and I didn't really think I was going to do it. I didn't think I was going to make it. I always thought that I'll take a step forward, whatever that next step is. Like, there was even stages of just having the courage to talk to people about it and to open up. But I think that there was not one particular moment when I achieved acceptance of my feminine self. It was really, I had just decided that I needed to transition no matter what, or that I needed to explore. And I was always prepared that if things didn't go right, or if I didn't feel good about what was happening, that I would just stop and I would cancel my transition, and then I would go back to the drawing board and figure out, like, what's actually wrong with me? And it turns out that being trans is just what was wrong with me. every step of the way felt like it was right for me. And I tried to be honest with myself about it, like, is this really right? Is this really making me happy? Or is this, a temporary solution to some tangential problem? I mean, it helped to meet people and to have friendship and find community, and these people, my new friends could teach me and kind of hold my hand and be my mentors, and you know prepare me for all the things I was going to have to do. Even though I get doubts sometimes, I still feel like this is the best thing that I've ever done for myself. And I am really just so much happier and so much more at peace with myself and the world around me. And, air tastes sweeter and sun is brighter and shinier, and feelings of happiness are newer and better. And just, I know it was right. It's been a long journey, and it's been a lot of work, and it's been filled with disappointment